If you set your GPS for north 4433.070, west 9120.009, you find yourself at a place called The Farm, as it's referred to by W0AIH regulars, located on 120 acres of rolling farmland in west central Wisconsin, about 4 miles south of Fall Creek, or about 10 miles southwest of Eau Claire, or commonly referred to as the middle of nowhere. The farm is the home of Paul and Mary Bittner and one of the ultimate HF contest stations. Paul has been a ham since 1949. Paul is constantly working on his shack. When we drove up, we found Paul working on one of his tractors. Paul quickly explained that there is plenty to do in this piece of land. Most of the towers on site are broadcast towers, either set for scrap or abandoned. Paul even told me a story of following a truck some 150 miles. He noticed some heavy-duty rigging equipment on the trailer, and the truck had West Virginia plates, but it was going north, and he figured it would stop soon. So he followed them. When they did stop, he asked the guys, "Where are you heading?" They told him they were taking down a TV broadcast tower. A new one had been completed, and the old tower was bare and needed to come down. Paul asked, "What are you doing with the old tower?" They replied, "It's going to be scrapped." So Paul asked, "What kind of price you getting for it?" The guy told him. Paul offered him a little bit more and told him he'd only need to get it to Eau Claire. Needless to say, they quickly accepted the offer, and that's how one of the towers got here. Most of the towers have similar stories, as do the buildings on the site as well. And the phone poles that you see on the site are from poles that were being replaced for newer poles, and most of the coaxial cable has been recycled as well. Paul has a lot of scrap metal on site as well, which he uses to manufacture mounting brackets, all custom built, as well as some custom-made dies. The main building is commonly referred to as the Chalet. It's the blue building on the right side of the photo. The Chalet houses 5 of the 6 HF operating positions. This is the south wall of the Chalet. The right side is the spotter position, while the left side is the operating station for 15 meters. The 15-meter station usually runs an IC 756 to an Alpha 87 amplifier. Just to the right of the 15-meter station is the 40-meter station. The 40-meter station uses an IC 775 driving a homebrewed 4-1000A amplifier. The black and the orange knobs on the right side of the picture are to change antennas. This is one of Paul's custom items, as no one makes a 10-position antenna switch that can handle the high power of the 4-1000A amplifier. Now this is the 80-meter and 10-meter station. They're located on the north side of the building. The 10-meter station is on the right side and usually runs an IC 775 or IC 765 radio connected to the Alpha 86 or homebrewed 4-1000A amplifier. The 80-meter station just to the left of the 10-meter station, you usually find the FT1000D driving the homebrewed 4-1000A amplifier. Now this is the 160-meter position and Paul's favorite band. This is on the west side of the Chalet. The 160-meter station runs an FT1000D into the homebrewed 4-1000A amplifier. Also notice the amount of tubes that are on top of his desk. These are the backups for the big amplifier. Speaking of the big amplifier, this is the 4-1000A amplifier rack. There are actually 3 amplifiers and a power supply in this rack. This is an all-custom amplifier. This is set up in such a way that you can run all 3 amplifiers at one time without interfering from one station to another. Paul commented that it makes a great space heater in the winter. The Chalet was a building originally used to house a broadcast station transmitter at a different antenna site for many years. Of all the operating points on the site, the Chalet is by far the largest, at about 15 by 20 feet, but with few creature comforts. The feed lines that come in and out of this building are almost inconceivable. The 20-meter position is located almost 300 feet away from the smaller 6x8 building, known as the Air Force Shack, because in a previous life it was a portable Air Force communication shelter. Here you'll find both the 20-meter operating position and the 20-meter spotter position. The main operating position is in the center, with the spotter position just off to the right. The 20-meter operating position uses an FT1000D into an Alpha 86A amplifier. In the case of a single op or multi-single contest, most of the 20-meter antennas are rerouted to the main building. As can be seen in the picture, there is enough feed line running between the 2 buildings to reroute almost anything. This is also true of the rotor controls. And the main building can be rearranged so all the operating controls are located on one side. The 15 and 40 meter position are mostly used for this, but we're not done yet. It's time to get the drill rag out and give you the highlights of the antennas. This is the full-size quarter wave elevated feed vertical. The tower is 18-inch pi rod with a base isolator at 60 feet, and there are a total of 24 4 elevated radials. Now this is the primary 80-meter antenna, which is a switchable 4-element vertical beam, switchable from northeast to northwest to southeast to southwest. It consists of a center feed point and 4 parasitic elements that can be electrically changed to become either the director or the reflector. This is the 3/3 high gain 403B Long John's antenna at 180 feet and 90 feet. They have booms of 46 feet and the elements are 73 feet. Each element half is comprised of 10 sections of tubing and has so little sag that most people mistake it for a 20-meter beam. And at the top of the tower is a 3-element Chris-Craft 10-meter beam, 90 degrees out of phase with the 40-meter antenna. Now this is the 20-meter antenna, which is a 4/4/4/4 high gain 204 BA. This is also one of the rotatable towers. Paul built his own rotator for this tower. It's a trim motor from a B-27 and rotates the entire tower, not just the beams. And this is the 15-meter antenna, which also is a 4/4/4/4 high gain antenna. This is a 155 BA, sitting on a 180-foot tower. Each one of these antennas is independently steerable. I couldn't possibly show you every antenna on the site, or every tower for that matter. So here's the list. The antennas range from as little as 2 antennas for 40 meters and as much as 8 antennas for 20 and 15, and the towers range in height from 60 feet all the way up to multiple 200-foot towers. And of course, every ham shack like this has to have a workshop, and it's actually the only part of the station that's in the house. The parts and equipment here would rival most ham radio repair facilities. With this much gear, it's much more economical to fix it on site, and during a contest, you just can't wait to get it fixed. There's also a machine shop to let them build pretty much anything they need. I'd like to thank Paul and Mary Bittner for their hospitality. I learned so much today that my notebook runneth over. It's the most fun a ham could have in a single day. 73s from the ham shack of W0AIH in west central Wisconsin.